I caught her sexting her high school ex. She said she was over him, but her messages prove otherwise. When I confronted her, she froze like a statue, the color draining from her face. Her phone was still in my hand, the light from the screen flashing across both of us as the last message she sent. I still think about that night under the bleachers. "You ruined me for anyone else," smiling face with horns, burned into my brain. She tried to grab it back, but I pulled it out of reach. "Who the hell is this?" I demanded. My voice cracked halfway through, because even though I was furious, I could feel that familiar lump in my throat, the kind that hits when your heart catches up to what your brain already knows. "It's not what you think," she said instantly. Classic. The liar's first line of defense. It was just stupid flirting. He messaged me first. I didn't mean anything by it. I laughed, loud and bitter. "Didn't mean anything? You sent him photos. You called him baby. You told him you missed the way he kissed you." My hands were shaking. I could barely keep my grip on the phone. "You said you were over him," I said quietly. She reached for me again, tears already starting to form. "I am. I swear, it was just stupid nostalgia. I wasn't going to actually do anything." I stepped back. "You already did." It was a Thursday night. One of those random evenings where everything feels calm and predictable right before your entire world goes sideways. I was making dinner, chicken stir-fry, nothing fancy. She was sitting at the counter, scrolling on her phone and sipping a glass of wine. Everything felt normal. She laughed at something on her screen, then set the phone face down when I walked by. That tiny, almost imperceptible motion, that was my first red flag. I didn't say anything then. I've never been the jealous type. But that flicker of suspicion stuck to me like static. She'd been acting off lately, more secretive with her phone, quick to lock it, turning away when she texted. I brushed it off at first, told myself I was being paranoid. She'd gone through a rough few weeks at work, dealing with new management, longer hours. I thought maybe she was venting to her friends, or even her mom. But later that night, while she was in the shower, I noticed her phone lighting up on the nightstand. The name said Ethan, with a heart emoji next to it. My stomach tightened. I knew the name. Ethan was her high school ex, the one she swore was a mistake from another lifetime, the one she said taught her what kind of guy not to date. She'd told me all about him early in our relationship, how he cheated on her, how he strung her along, how she'd moved on years ago. I hesitated for a full minute before I touched the phone. I'm not proud of that. I'm not the kind of person who snoops. But that feeling in my gut, the one that says something isn't right, it wouldn't let me ignore it. The screen was still unlocked from her last use. One swipe, and I was staring at a wall of messages that made my chest go hollow. The conversation went back weeks. Dozens of messages. Flirty, sexual, personal. Things she'd said to me once upon a time. Compliments about his body. About how she still dreamed about that night in his car. I felt sick reading them. One message stood out like a knife in the ribs. "Sometimes I think about what it'd be like if I'd never broken up with you." And his reply, "We could always pick up where we left off." I don't know how long I stood there staring before she came out of the shower, hair wet, humming softly to herself. The moment she saw me holding her phone, her face changed. That's when I asked. That's when the excuses started. She tried to twist it immediately, said I invaded her privacy, that I had no right to go through her phone. I told her she forfeited privacy the second she used it to lie to me. That's when the crying started. She sat on the edge of the bed, sobbing into her hands, saying she didn't know why she did it, that she felt lost and confused about her life. That Ethan reached out and brought up memories. That she just wanted to see what it felt like to talk to him again. You wanted to see what it felt like? I snapped. What about what it feels like for me right now? She looked up at me, her mascara streaked, eyes bloodshot. I didn't mean to hurt you. I almost laughed again. That's always the line, isn't it? Nobody ever means to. But they do it anyway. I walked out of the room. I needed air. My mind was spiraling. Flashes of all the times she'd told me she loved me, the way she'd hold my hand in public, the random forehead kisses before bed. All of it felt fake now, like I'd been living in some staged version of my own relationship. We'd been together for 3 years. We'd talked about moving in together permanently, getting a dog, even kids someday. She was the first person I ever felt completely safe with. The idea that she'd betray that, over a guy she hated, didn't even seem real. Later that night, she came to find me. I was sitting on the back porch in the dark, trying to wrap my head around everything. She sat down next to me, still sniffling. I ended it, she said softly. I told him I can't talk to him anymore. I didn't look at her. You only ended it because I found out. She sighed, then reached for my hand. I pulled it away. Please, she whispered. Don't throw this away over something stupid. It was just texting. Just texting. I repeated, the words sharp as glass. Do you have any idea how that sounds? You told him you missed him. You sent him photos. That's not just texting. That's cheating. Her voice broke then. I didn't sleep with him. Would you have? I asked quietly. She didn't answer. That silence was louder than any confession. The next few days were a blur. She begged me to stay. Wrote long messages about how she messed up, how she'd do anything to make it right. Her friends texted me too. One even said, she's devastated. Please just talk to her. But I couldn't. Not then. Every time I looked at her face, all I saw were the words on that screen. I started noticing more lies after that, too. Little inconsistencies that made me wonder how long she'd been playing both sides. She'd told me she hated Ethan's guts, but now I remembered how she'd flinched once when I joked about him, or how she'd gotten oddly defensive when I mentioned running into one of her old classmates. The truth is, I think she never really got over him. I think he was that one unresolved thread in her life, the what if she couldn't let go of. And I was just the person who made her feel safe enough to start reaching back into the past. A week later, I told her to pack her things. She cried the entire time, trying one last time to convince me it was a mistake. I didn't shout, didn't curse. I just stood there, hollow, while she zipped up her bag and whispered, "You'll regret this one day." She left. I didn't look out the window to watch her go. For weeks afterward, I couldn't shake the image of those texts. I'd find myself lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment we'd had together, trying to figure out when she started slipping away. Was it last month? Last year? Was it ever real? One night, about a month later, I got a message from a random number. It was Ethan. He said, "Hey man, I didn't know she was with someone. She told me you guys broke up last year. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mess things up." That text hit like another punch to the gut. She hadn't just cheated, she'd built an entirely different story for him. Pretended I didn't even exist. I didn't reply. There was nothing to say. Instead, I screenshotted it, sent it to her, and blocked them both. It's been almost a year since then. I've moved apartments, started therapy, even started dating again, slowly. I'd love to say I've completely healed, but the truth is, cheating messes with you in ways you don't expect. It's not just the heartbreak, it's the way it rewires your brain. You start doubting everyone. You flinch when someone laughs at their phone. You start to wonder if love is just a game people play until something shinier comes along. Sometimes I catch myself scrolling through old photos of us. Not because I miss her, but because I'm still trying to understand how she could throw it all away for a handful of nostalgic texts with some guy who peaked at 17. And maybe that's the hardest part. Knowing that while I was planning a future, she was reliving her past. So yeah, I caught her sexting her high school ex, the one she swore she was over. And maybe she really believed she was, right up until he messaged her and she realized she wasn't. But her messages told the truth I didn't want to see. She didn't miss him, not really. She just missed who she used to be with him. Young, exciting, wanted. And in the process of chasing that version of herself, she destroyed the best version of us.